Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen. Good morning, everyone. We can do better than that. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you to the Mississauga Board of Trade for having me here today on such a tremendous topic for us to discuss. We're looking at customer experience and customer retention, something vital to all of your businesses as you go forward to grow those businesses. So the first thing I'd like to do is have some participation. I need your assistance, please. Could I have everybody stand up for a quick survey? And the survey starts off for us here. If you can see that and you know what that is a dial-up phone. All right, it's one of these. It's where it comes from. Call me. This is where this comes from, okay, in respect to it. If you've used one of these in the workplace, sit down, please. Oh, yeah, interesting. I heard some O's. I heard some oh my. Oh, I guess I have. If you know of it and you've used it like I have in my parents' house on occasion, you can sit down as well for me. Next little sample for us is this. If you used to drive around in your car and have your ashtray overflowing with quarters and use these to plug them in bad weather to phone in for your messages, you know what that is. You can sit down as well. And then I know finally, most people coming in this morning would have utilized one of these. You can sit down as well. What we're looking at here is a change in technology, which is ongoing, and that's one of the things that I'm going to be discussing with you this morning. Second thing that we'll have a look at is generations. Right? Kieran mentioned that there are 4 generations in the workplace right now. This is the first time in history that we've had this. It presents unique challenges, and we're going to look at that going forward as well. We've got the baby boomers, if there's still some around, that'll be exiting the workplace. More than welcome. We're glad to have you. Tremendous amount of experience. I know I've heard people say I resemble that remark. The Xers, which is myself, the Ys, and even the Zs that are coming in now. And the Ys we like to play with, what generation's that? Millennials, yeah, absolutely. Very important one that we'll talk about shortly as well. So through all this, we're going to talk a little bit about what we need to survive. And Dr. Shimi Kang, Harvard-trained Canadian psychologist, says there's one item that we need more than anything else to help us with survival. Do we know what that might be? Any shout-outs? Right? Good? Yeah? Communication, Corey? Wi-Fi's good. I like that. A generational man right here, too. Absolutely. No, the one thing that we need is ability to change. Our adaptability to change is vital to us going forward, not just in business, but in general. These things are very important when we talk about change. So we talk about change, we talk about technology. What do we think changes in 1 minute now based on the internet? What changes in 1 minute? It's pretty incredible. We're looking at 973,000 logins to Facebook. We're looking at 18 million text messages in 1 minute. By the time I take this slide off, there's 38 million messages on WhatsApp. And if you're interested, 1.1 million swipes on Tinder. I don't know who all the people are swiping on Tinder right now, but I'm glad your phones aren't out to be doing that. So things change incredibly quickly. Now, when we talk about growth, there's 2 ways to grow our organizations. One is to go out and acquire new businesses, new companies, new clients. The second one that we're going to talk about today, more so, is about retention. How do we keep our clients? Well, to understand how we keep our clients, we have to understand why our clients might leave us. That's the first thing that we have to do and put a cap on that somehow. So why do our customers leave us? Well, there could be several reasons why. Some we can't impact. If they die or leave the market, that's not something that we have control over.
That's my market.
That's your market? A dying market. So we have to adapt and change, don't we? Absolutely. Now, the other reasons that they may leave, they get a friend in the service. Have you ever had this? Put your hand up if you've had this. Oh, it's okay, I have a friend. I don't need your services. Everybody has a friend. So that might be one. Persuaded to go elsewhere because of a competitor, dissatisfied with our service. And then the last one, believes you don't care about them. Wow, 68% of the time in a recent survey says they leave because they think you don't care about them. That's terrible. Of course we care. But if they don't know, if we don't show it, we could lose them as a client, and we don't want that. So why should we care about client retention? Why is that important to us? This is why. A 5% increase in your customer retention will increase your profitability 75%, all factors in. A very important statistic for us. We know with the Pareto principle that 80% of your business is going to come from 20% of those customers. You got to hang on to them. Even the main 20%, your top 20%. And we know it's easier. How many people are in sales or sell their company and services? Would you prefer to go out and get more clients or service your existing? It's easier to service our existing, isn't it? We know them well. That's why we have to retain them and hang on to them. Because the amount of effort involved is 6 to 7 times, and the cost to go out and get a new client. So hang on to them. So how do we increase that customer retention? What do we do to keep our clients? Because that's so important to us. Value their input by listening. Ask the right questions. Identify more opportunities so that you can sell deeper and wider to the organization. That's called share of wallet. Very important. Fix problems quickly. In fact, if you fix problems quickly, 70% of your unhappy customers actually become loyal and not just satisfied. Do we know the difference between satisfied and loyal? Are you happy if your customers are just satisfied? You shouldn't be. When I drive my car to get gas and I'm coming up to the corner, there's always at least 2 gas stations, right? And the price is always the same. Good competition. So I get a choice. I'm satisfied with both of the ones that I use, but I'm not loyal to either. You have to gain your client loyalty if you're going to hang on to them. Other things we could do, become an authority in your field. Really help them out. Back in the day, we called that consultative selling. You're consulting them, you're helping them in their field. Not just an expert on your products and services, but on theirs as well. Make sure that we reply quickly to our clients and stay in constant contact. Stay in constant contact. Question for you. How many people here, okay, actually have a business plan in place? Okay, show of hands, please. Actually have your business plan in place. All right, good. Well, as Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. Okay? It's true. I have a great plan. It's sitting on the shelf, getting dusty. What's going to be your punch in the face, people? What's going to happen that's going to change so dramatically that your plan's in the garbage? Okay? What's going to happen to you? I'm going to give you one example of what might happen to you. We talked about generations earlier. Well, look at this. Workforce by the end of 2020, right, is going to be 51% millennials. What's the percentage of millennials in this room? Hands up if you're a millennial, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. I count 7 out of 60. Okay? So be aware of that. They're not in this room right now. So we need to be addressing this issue going forward. So what do we know about millennials? And we'll poke some fun at you. Okay. In general, they've grown up being told they're great. They've been handed a lot, instant gratification, but they also have a greater purpose. Okay? They're quick to push back on our generations and what we've done to the planet, for instance. So we have to be aware of things because this will be the generation that we are selling to. Okay? Very important. They like to work collaboratively to solve their needs, and they use the internet to accelerate their buying process. Okay? And even networking. Case in point, 7 out of 61 people in this room are millennials because they don't network like we did in our generations. It's different now, and we have to adapt to it if we're going to survive. So what do we do for these millennials? Make it easy for them to source all of our products and services. Show our social values, and if you don't have them with your company, you need to develop them. That's crucial to them even coming to work for you. It's not just about the money anymore. Okay? Invest in the right digital platforms because that's what they use to make decisions, and invest in social media selling. I put that picture up because if you want to blame the millennial generation, blame me. I raised 2 of them. All right? So those are my 2 sons. That's Evan in the middle. He's 23, and Max on the right. He's 25. Okay? Couldn't be more different, but they are both millennials as well. Okay? Who has a social media plan? not a marketing plan, a social media plan. Okay, good. I see some hands, but far less than a regular plan. It's not an afterthought. It's not a bolt-on to your marketing plan. It's not, oh, I forgot to post something on my Instagram today. No, you need a plan. And people say, well, no, you know I don't. And I see the doubt in our faces, my generation especially, going on. Here's why you do. So I'm going to discuss with you the top 4 misconceptions you have about social selling. I've been in sales 30 years now, and it changes, and that's why we need to change. The number 1 thing, social selling is just prospecting on social media. Is that what we think it is? Maybe. These are top myths. By the way, this is a Harvard Business Review that came out 2 months ago, so it's very relevant and very up to date. The process of building, nurturing, converting, and expanding relevant buyer relationships through online platforms. And then that ultimately becomes revenue. That's the front end. Myth number 2, social selling takes up too much time. I don't have time for it. You need to make time for it. All the other admin tasks and things you're doing aren't as important as this. You should be spending 40 to 60 minutes a day on your social media, social selling. Okay? Social selling doesn't integrate with existing sales processes. How many people have fixed sales processes, CRMs? Anybody have them in their organization? Good. They do integrate. And there's ways that I can show you that they will integrate to those. Again, not just a bolt-on on the front end. And finally, social selling doesn't generate any revenue. Well, what it does is generate activity. Leads to conversations, which leads to revenue. No different than we're here this morning. Meeting new people, having conversations, hoping it leads to something else. That's what social media does. And the next generation coming up, which will be the commanding one in our workforce, utilizes it. So it's very important. If you need more information and stats, 82% of prospects are active on social media, including yourselves. It's in front of you on a regular basis. 72% of B2B buyers use social media to research their purchase decision. Wow, 72%, almost 3/4. That's huge. If you're not there, your competition is. Think about it. You need to be. 53% of buyers said they rely on peer recommendations before they make a purchase. That's that collaborative part of the generation now. They talk to each other. My oldest son moved into the city a couple years ago, and he has a dog, and I see up on his social media, where's the best vet in Toronto, where I am, near Yorkville? All the friends reply, all these answers, boom. Yellow pages? Searching? No, right there, collaboratively asking his circle of friends. So you need to be there and be very visible. That's how it operates, okay? 82% of buyers viewed between 5 and 8 pieces of content from their winning vendor. Okay, we're getting the picture, aren't we? It's very important to be there or be noticed for our absence. That's where we need to be going forward. More stats on it. I'm happy to send them to you if you want to contact me for that. So social selling, the use of social media to do what? Identify and connect with clients. Identify and connect with clients. That's what we can use it for. Build brand and relationships online. Very important for us. Influencing buying decisions. I know we like to be face-to-face, and that part will come for us. This is the front end of it. And we stay top of mind. Consistently, you have to push that out there several times to get your message embedded in people. Because I'll assure you now, the small, fast, and agile are eating the big and slow. You've got to be very quick. This doesn't happen once, by the way. This isn't a, boy, yeah, I'll put my social media plan out there this month and run it for the entire year. Quick hits, small hits, fast and agile, change it. We have to be on top of it on a regular basis. It would look more like this when you're mastering social selling. Create a professional online brand. That's your profile. Identify the right prospects so that you can target them. Then you connect with them. Then you build that trusted relationship. I know relationships are still a huge part of selling and keeping our client base. This is how we do it with social media because it's not like it was before. This is how purchases are made today. We do Google searches. We view video and email, white paper, testimonials. This is how it's done. Back years ago when I was selling in the field, You had to call me. I was the guy. I had the information. I had it all right here. You'd call me, I'd come in, and I'd share it with you. Now, that happens online. People believe they have most of the information they need to make a decision. They don't need you in the same way. So you need to change that by getting engaged in the social media much, much sooner. So in the evolution of the customer, we look at generations to start with. Okay? Address newer generations and their buying preferences. It's different than the way that we've done it in the past. Build your teams diversified. If you're trying to target the generation of millennials that are coming up through, hire them. You don't know them. I don't know my kids as well as I'd like. If you want to target that generation, hire them. They're out there now, okay? And engage earlier in the buying process through social media. Technology-wise, your marketing and communications piece, collaborate to meet the customer's needs in a digital platform. Include all aspects of your services, not just one product. Everything has to be up there for them to buy in. And make your products and solutions, services, extremely visible on social media, whichever you choose, and it's always changing as well. So keep that in mind. So finally, to go beyond just surviving and actually grow, you need to change. That's a big piece of this. We have to focus on client retention. We have to change, be nimble. Social media and social selling is a big part of that for you to be successful going forward. You have to hire the generation you're targeting. Bring these people on board. They're willing to work now and excited to, and listen to them. And that will help you build customer relationships so that at the end of the day, you're ready for that punch in the face. Thank you very much.